Taking all challengers. Billy Hoyle, fuck looking fresh. Lay it on the line, put my shot up and it's wet. Billy Hoyle, fuck looking fresh. Lay it on the line, put my shot up and it's wet. Billy Hoyle, fuck looking fresh. Lay it on the line, put my shot up and it's wet. Yeah, I'm Billy Hoyle, fuck looking fresh. Lay it on the line, put my shot up and it's fucking wet. When I made my first
podcast,
thought I had to show it, needed ice on my hand.
That's
Didn't
it?
take long to see that shit was the wrong look.
That's it.
I thought we were further along than that.
You thought wrong.
That's shitty. We haven't been doing this shit at all.
And we have, but
So how was your weekend?
like that. It was good.
Do you remember any of it?
Yeah. I do. But that's always how the Michigan tailgate gets to me. I went tailgating, and at the beginning of the day, though, I thought I actually wasn't going to go at all. And then last minute, I got to take a step back because all week, me and my wife had been going back and forth with offers on this house that we wanted. And we had to put in a counter that day, and we had just been notified on Friday evening that we needed to put an offer in by Saturday at 5. And so we hadn't had time to write an offer, so we were just kind of like, oh, we're probably not going to make it out to tailgate. We're probably going to have to work on that. I couldn't sleep that night, so I got up super early on Saturday and wrote the letter. And so we were able to go. But yeah, and then it just got a little bit out of control from there. But
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Creeped up on me.
You showed up to watch the game at noon, and you were already 3 sheets to the wind.
No, I was not. That is not true. That is just not true at all. Don't be fake news.
Just saying.
No.
We're not going to talk about that game. Shitty game. Shitty game. Not really much to say about it. We got outplayed.
I don't really want to talk about it. Figures the Lions would win that same weekend, though.
Good, thank God. Because my fantasy teams aren't. Dude, so not in our league, my other league, I have 4 weeks in a row where I've lost my matchup in prime time. Like on some close shit, not on some like, oh, I need to score 50 points. Like
Aaron my wife in our other league has lost 3 times in a row in that same by 2 points. No, 1.5, 2 points, and then I forget her last one. It's like 3 or 4 or something like that.
Dude, I went into last night, and I still have Julio going tonight. But I went into the Sunday night game. I had Dalton and Mixon going against the Chiefs' sorry-ass defense and high-scoring games all the time if it's a Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And the other guy had Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But I had like a 30-point lead going into the night. Dude, that shit got erased in like a second. And Dalton ended up with 8 points or something like that.
Yeah.
And same with Mixon. What a fucking joke, dude. And Mahomes puts up like 100.
Dude, Mahomes is a beast.
He is, man. He's the truth.
He is insane.
What else happened this weekend? Not shit. Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right. Oh, I just came from the dentist.
Yeah.
You were asking me questions about this. I was like, well, we just talk about it on the pod, you know? Dude. So, I already sunk X amount of money into this fucking tooth problem with, getting braces, dealing with all this shit, right?
Yep.
I wake up like 4 days ago, and that tooth that got knocked in is loose. Like, not crazy, like flapping in the wind loose, but like I can move it and see myself move it. And so I call the dentist.
Well, isn't that part of what they were supposed to fix though? Like, wasn't it like, I guess I don't know exactly what because it was loose when it got knocked, right?
No, it wasn't loose. It was like bent.
Oh, it was just moved back, but it wasn't at all loose.
No, it wasn't really loose, but it was like it was all jacked up, but I couldn't move it around.
I thought it was a little loose,
but anyway, the braces were to like move it back into place, right? So anything that was going on with me during that time was always just blamed on, you know, braces, teeth are moving around, out of root canal, like trauma to the tooth, whatever, all this stuff. But yeah, I woke up and this shit's loose, so I go in there today. Got to drop more money.
What?
To get this fucking, what do you call it, like a bite splint, because he thinks I'm like clenching or grinding my teeth either during the day or during when I'm sleeping, and it's caused that tooth to like.
Do you think you are?
I keep hitting that tooth. I could believe it at night for sure. I could believe it.
I think I do at night too.
But to cause the tooth to come loose, like. I don't know, but he's
tooth though.
Well, I know, but the thing is, like, they're probably already like there needs to be healing for that tooth to be like 100% still.
Yeah, okay.
And the healing isn't being allowed to happen because
you're grounded,
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I gotta go drop another buttload of cash to fucking get this taken care of. Go to a bunch of other dentists to make sure everything's all set up, and it's all for like a hypothetical. This should fix it. Yeah. And he joked with me. He was like. Because right after I signed off on the pay $1,000 to get this shit done, I turned to him and I was like, so you're pretty sure this is going to fix it, right? And he's like, let's put it this way, I would do it. And I was like, well, I guess that's my only choice because I can't walk around with a loose tooth. So whatever your recommendation is, I got to just kind of do it. And then he kind of half joked. He was like, or we could just pull the tooth. And I was dead serious. And I was like, well, if that's going to be what has to happen at the end of this, I'd rather do it now and save myself a bunch of fucking money down the road. And he was, because he was like, no, like that costs $6,000 just to get a new tooth. And I was like, yeah, well, I've pretty much spent that on all the shit I've fucking done so far.
Right, exactly.
So you want me to keep doing that and then have to spend $6,000 for that when it actually happens? It's this type of shit, though, that like I tweeted out the other day, I'm about to start driving Uber. And I'm dead serious.
Well, I mean...
Like, dude, there's a difference between, like, making comfortable living money and making money that you can fucking stack. And I'm sick of, like, getting ahead on shit and then, oh, this big-ass expense here and this big-ass expense here. It's like, geez, man.
No, I know.
And, you know...
That's why I have a part-time job, because it's not...
Benefits and shit.
Well, yeah, but it's... The thing is, like, we make a living on what we do, but it's not a super comfortable living.
That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a lot of people, though, nowadays. Like, if you talk to a lot of people, they're working 2 jobs.
Yeah, I'm about to, for real. I can kill 2 birds, you know, play people my music, make new fans, market for shows.
Yeah.
That shit's just depressing, though. But, whatever. Hopefully that shit can get figured out eventually.
I mean, but that's the thing, though, is like I can't help the fact that, especially with dentists, I don't know about what it is about dentists that there's like something that I don't trust about it. Like, it just seems like, I don't know. They're always giving like their opinion on stuff, and it always like ends up being, you know, okay, this is happening. So it's like a mechanic type of thing. Like you said, like this will probably fix it, but they really have no idea until it absolutely doesn't, and then they'll give you their next thing.
Yeah.
Instead of just laying out all of the... Like, I never have had a dentist just lay out all of the options and have me choose from it. It's always, this is the next step, let's pay for that.
Yeah. Well, I think, like in my case, they're always trying to save the tooth, right? They don't want you to have to get, like, fake teeth, like implants and shit. But at the end of the day, like, if I would have just gotten my fucking tooth taken out and gotten an implant when the shit first happened,
then it would have saved.
In the long run, would I be saving money?
Right.
Be damn close.
Right.
Now I'd have a fake tooth, which is annoying and whack, but
yeah,
I don't know. Depends on how long this goes. But whatever. Let's get into real shit. Real shit that people give a fuck about. Not just me bitching.
Well, I'm going to start out with the one music thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
this whole thing with Spotify acquiring a stake in DistroKid. And therefore the speculation is that Spotify will now be offering independent artists to be able to upload to all music services instead of just Spotify on their platform.
So are you saying DistroKid will allow?
No. So
how is Spotify going to allow?
Through DistroKid's services or platform, or no one's really sure how this is going to work, but they've acquired a stake in DistroKid, and so that you are just always using Spotify's platform, like their artist dashboard that you're used to using, they're going to build in functionality for you to not only upload to Spotify with their upload button, but to also upload to all
because
music
technically
services.
They won't have to have agreements with like Apple because DistroKid.
Exactly.
Okay. So whatever gets integrated will be through DistroKid rather than a direct link between
They're just
Spotify.
using what DistroKid is already, the
DistroKid's
legwork
gonna
that
be kind of a
DistroKid,
middleman.
right. They're using whatever DistroKid has already done and
So
integrating it into their
So you're
platform.
thinking, so right now, I just dropped Billy Hoyle, right? We uploaded that to DistroKid, and DistroKid sends it to Spotify, iTunes, whatever, right? So you're thinking the plan here is we would go onto Spotify's dashboard,
Yes.
upload it, and we would be able to select stores like Apple Music and whatever that we want to distribute to through Spotify's dashboard.
Yes.
Which is weird as hell to think about.
Yes.
Like I'm on Spotify about to distribute to Apple Music.
Right.
You think they'll be able to do that?
I don't
You
see
don't
why
think like
not.
Apple's going to find a way to shut that down?
How? It's through DistroKid. It's not through Spotify.
They can shut down DistroKid.
They can. They cannot accept any, but they won't because too many independent artists depend on that. It'd be different if DistroKid was literally just starting up. And I think that's why this is a great chess move by Spotify, is because Spotify knows if they just straight up were like, we're going to become a distributor now, there would be way more hoops for them to jump through if they were just starting on an entity on their own, because that would be an easy block for a lot of these streaming services. But if they're trying to block something that's already been established, that's a little bit tougher.
So have we figured out the revenue shit that we were talking about last time? Have you looked into that at all?
No one's going to know that until it gets out of beta.
But even their whole like 50% shit that they keep talking about.
50%.
The way they word it, I'm just not even really sure what they're talking about. Like Spotify's agreed to pay 50% of prorated net revenue generated by directly distributed artists to the performer.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Is that
So-
like a for
so-
sure? Where did you read that?
In the article,
In
the Business World article.
Okay.
Spotify has agreed to pay 50% of prorated net revenue generated by directly distributed artists to the performer. So, like, if we directly distributed, we would get 50% of the revenue that song makes? Is that what it's saying?
Read that one more time.
Spotify has agreed to pay 50% of prorated net revenue generated by directly distributed artists to the performer.
Yeah, after all expenses and stuff. Yeah.
So, because then it says, it sounds like major labels and like bigger independent labels receive 52% net revenue share.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the artists see a percentage of that, like label artists.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as just straight up making money on a song, independent artists are going to have a leg up on that.
Right.
Even though it's a slight step down from what a label song, like if a label gets 52%, independent artists would get 50%. But
that doesn't mean the artist is.
that's
saying
what I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah.
And they're definitely not.
Well, they're not. Yeah.
they're seeing way less than that.
Right. That's why the advantage is for. I think that's what Spotify's overall end goal is it's like this is a move that's really like taking it to the record labels.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Well, they're gonna kind of be their own record label, but they have like every independent artist under their record label.
Well, they're gonna be a record label in the sense that they have a distribution leg now, but that's it. Like, it's not like they have control over the artist or anything like that.
But they have the distribution leg, but they can do so many things for so many different types of artists.
Yeah.
Like, they're the most fluid, flexible label type entity you could possibly have.
Right. I agree.
Like, they can take a labeled up artist and offer them partnership deals with Spotify that are beneficial to everyone, and they can take the most independent underground artists and offer them this distribution leg and making 50% of their revenue.
Yep. And I actually think that this might be a chess move for them to try to avoid being a monopoly.
Okay.
Because technically, if they have this integration with DistroKid, they're never going to be viewed as trying to take over the entire landscape of music streaming. Because if they're distributing from their service to other platforms, how could one possibly argue that they're trying to become a monopoly at that point?
Right. Yeah, they're doing it in a smart way.
Yeah.
Like, they could end up that way because they're just making the right moves to become the go-to place, but they're not straight up
that's
trying
the
to
thing.
cut other
They
things
could
out.
easily make the argument, though, that they just have the superior product.
No, I know, and that's what it'll be in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a question for you, and I'm probably stupid for not knowing this based off what we do, but the whole 50% thing, what do we make now? Is that even a change?
Oh, yeah.
What do we make now?
I don't know, but
that's what I mean. Like,
I know
they market it, they're advertising it like it's a good change. I don't even know what it is now, because you can't, as an independent artist, you can't not have your music on Spotify. So you put your shit up there and you make what you make. But I don't even know what that percentage is right now.
And I don't think anyone can really divvy it into like a certain thing, because I think it's even hard for Spotify to like narrow that down month by month. But I do know, I've read articles throughout, especially this year, that I've been trying to look into what exactly it costs a distributor to like distribute to a platform.
Mm-hmm.
But I've literally never found an answer to that, like a solid answer to that. But I know that it changes like by month, and by, I think, how much Spotify spends on advertising and things like that. I think there's a lot that goes into it month by month that they can't really divvy it down to anything. But I think because if you're going directly through Spotify, I think it makes it a little bit easier for them to establish an algorithm to easily pay out artists in a like way more efficient way. And that's why they can guarantee around 50% at that point. Because the thing is, if you think about it, the less amount of middlemen that you have,
it always helps.
It just makes it way easier.
Yeah, it's less people that need to get paid.
Right. So I think that's the reason. I don't know what the number is, though. I would assume, from everything that I've read and every forum that I've been on, it does sound like it's not the greatest.
Well, yeah, I assume that, but I have no way of knowing, like, if it's going to be 50% on this new shit. I don't know what it is now. Like, it could be fucking 25. It could be 45. I don't know.
The thing is, if they're saying that labels are getting paid 52 right now,
yes,
then that leads me to believe it's pretty good. Like 50% in the grand scheme of things.
Because if labels have negotiated 52 to this point, that 50
and labels are happy with that 52, like they settled arguments based on that 52, it has to be pretty good.
Right. Do you know how many songs are uploaded to Spotify each day?
No.
Over 20,000.
Damn. Yeah, that's...
So cutting out the middleman and just saying, hey, go upload something.
Yeah.
It's way more beneficial to that type of platform.
Oh, yeah.
When you're getting that type of traffic.
And they have way more control of how they pay out, and because then they are the entity. Like,
Right.
There's nothing else that they have to worry about.
I hope that
at
50% is
point.
big, because that would, like, Spotify really is, it's becoming the thing. And so if they can actually pay a fair share of the money that a song generates, that's going to start to become a lot more independent artist friendly.
Right. And it's huge for artists just because whether you like it or not, Spotify is the thing. So they're paying you out more than any of these other ones are because they got the user base.
Yeah, be dope. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Do you think Kanye gave Pusha the info, or did 40?
I mean, probably 40, I would bet.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
Because it's more uncomfortable. And normally the more uncomfortable thing is the true thing.
It's crazy, though, that, like, Drake went out on a big HBO thing with LeBron James and, like, pretty much made it clear.
But what I think, though, is I think there's two stories, though. I think that Drake probably does think that, but I don't think that it's how it exactly happened from Push's standpoint. Because I think there can be two sides of that.
Well, yeah, they could both be telling the truth,
right?
For sure,
right.
I'm just asking you what you think actually happened.
I actually think they might both be.
They
telling
can be.
the truth.
I'm asking you what you think.
That's what I think.
Okay. So you think Pusha got the info from this chick 40 was messing with?
Right.
Okay, so when I first heard Drake's side, I was definitely like, yeah, I'm sure that's how it went down, because that seems very Kanye-like.
Mm-hmm.
Then I heard Pusha's side, and yeah, that's way more uncomfortable to think about. It's also super random of Pusha to come up with if that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be interested to, like, I wonder if more details will come out from, like, 40 or whoever this woman is or whatever to, like, refute any of it. Because if nothing is refuted, then I have to believe that. I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough because, yeah, I kind of agree with you where I think they can both be right. Like, Drake might have not had any idea about that, and of course he would assume that the Kanye shit is how it went down because he told Kanye, and Kanye's like working super closely with Pusha.
Right.
So why the
and
hell?
I think it was a matter of with Drake, he didn't talk to anybody to figure it out. He just put the pieces of the puzzle together, and that's what he came up with.
Yeah.
And Pusha's saying, I actually talked to people, and
right.
This is how I found out.
Well, one of the things that got me, and I was talking to you and Q about it the other day, and why I tend to have to kind of believe what Push is saying is he did make a good point of he didn't have any boundaries with what he did throughout that battle, right? So,
Right.
like, he did the whole Drake blackface artwork.
Mm-hmm.
He said all that shit in his diss. If Kanye would have given Pusha this info that Drake gave Kanye, including like a picture of the kid,
Yep.
Pusha was like, you don't think I would have used that picture for like artwork or whatever?
Right.
And I believe he would have if he had.
Yeah.
It. He goes, I wish I would have had it.
Yeah.
And I kind of believe that.
Yeah.
So that being the case, you kind of have to believe that that wasn't the way Pusha got his info. It had to be this other way. If you believe that. I mean, it's not like any of this like really matters in the grand scheme of things. It's just interesting to like, it's crazy how you hear one side of things and it's like, yeah, that's believable. And it could be totally wrong. And then you hear the other side and you're like, oh shit. And now I kind of believe Pusha and someone could come out and say something, no, this never happened. And if they're believable, I'd be like, oh, fuck. It's just like everyone controlling the narrative.
Well, yeah. Well, and I guess that's the thing is like, that's why I say, I don't think either one of them are lying from their standpoint. I think that Drake just didn't have the whole story.
Yeah.
Like, you think 40 told him, oh man, I fucked up.
Right,
Like,
and that's what I'm wondering.
no,
if
that didn't happen.
That's what I'm wondering if Drake literally didn't know, and now, like, Drake and 40 are having a conversation.
I guarantee it, probably.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for that one.
I mean, I'm pretty damn sure that that's probably what happened, just because it is so uncomfortable, and I don't see any reason for Pusha making that up. Like, because that could be easily refuted.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, is like that could easily be shot down if it's a fallacy. There has to be some type of truth.
I don't see that.
And for all the people like, oh, 40 would really talk about Drake's clothing line with this, like, that's so unbelievable. No, like,
that's totally believable.
Dudes talk to women about personal shit all the time.
It depends on the situation, but it happens.
Right.
Probably more so than you want to think.
You put all these celebrities and stuff on this mythical pedestal, but they're fucking human beings.
Right.
And they're fucking human beings.
Well, the thing is, the way that I view it is
bars.
If you view everybody's brand, you know how, well, we've talked about this on one of our last podcasts, is everybody's got a brand type of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just to put it in perspective for everybody involved, since everybody's got a brand, view the Stars brand on the same level as your brand,
right,
and then picture or not picture whether or not that's actually likely to happen.
Yeah.
Like any of these situations. Because if you don't put that brand on such a big pedestal and you're like, I would never, if I had Drake's brand, do any of that stuff. I mean, you're lying to yourself, because they grew up with this thing. Like it's not the same. They don't view their brand the same as you view their brand.
Right. You know where I think, as a whole, hip hop and probably these artists are missing the boat here, and I think maybe DJ Booth had some little tiny article about it or something. I just saw it on Twitter. Why, especially this Drake and Pusha thing, gave us it gave us a moment in hip hop and like a couple good diss records. Why now are we talking about a Drake conversation on The Shop and a Pusha interview with Joe Budden? Rap about this shit, man. And the thing that kind of bugs me too is, like, I think it would have been a great opportunity, even though, okay, I'll say this. I think Pusha has done a phenomenal job through this whole thing.
Yeah.
He pretty much stayed quiet when he already like had Drake beaten.
Right.
And then finally, when he decided to pop back up after a long time, he did it on the Joe Budden podcast, which I think was a perfect platform for him to use.
Yeah.
But I think at any point, like, Drake keeps talking about this record that he had done, and Pusha is going on podcasts talking about, why don't these guys put it in a song? Aren't they artists?
It's in Drake's court, though. If he
but
doesn't
it's just like
do
all
that,
this gossip. It's all this gossip shit. Like, dude, after
that's
Drake,
all on Drake.
After Drake went on The Shop, what if Pusha would have dropped a record, including the whole like 40 shit?
I don't think it would have been accepted as well as you think.
You think it's better that he went on the podcast?
Hell yeah. 100%.
Maybe just from the art perspective, it's just annoying.
Yeah, it is. And
to
I
see
agree
these two
with that.
good rappers who could be having a great battle just beefing over podcasts.
Yes.
Like, and just talking about it.
No, I know.
Like,
but
anyone can beef over the fucking airwaves of just talking about shit. You guys are dope rappers.
I just think that Pusha's just foul. Like, he's literally just letting Drake dig his grave. Like, he's literally like, because the thing is, if Drake would have responded, Pusha would have.
I know.
Like,
I know.
in the same way.
You're
like,
probably right. You're probably right.
Why does Pusha need to write a track when Drake just gets to go onto a podcast and talk about it? That's not fair.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, like I always say, and we don't need to beat a dead horse, I guess, but the best record to come out of this shit, like, that got me the most, was Duppy, but Pusha's diss was the biggest moment, and I think Pusha just keeps continuing to win.
Yeah, for sure.
Over this shit.
And I think he's played every situation correctly.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see if Drake lets it die or if he keeps trying to.
At
this point, I think Drake would be smartest to just let it die.
Yeah. I don't even know why he did that Shop thing, because that to me was not really necessary. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, he could have done it. Just don't talk about the Pusha shit. Like, and I know that's what everybody wants to hear anyway, but
did they though? Because I haven't thought about that shit since then. You know what I mean?
Well, oh yeah, no,
like,
I know.
It was like, and I don't know when they recorded it, so
yeah,
maybe it was really relevant when they recorded it, and it's just airing now. I don't know, But no, I wasn't. I'm not like once Drake decided not to respond, I was over that beef.
Yeah, true.
I didn't need to hear a shop interview talking about it.
Yeah, but was the world? I don't know.
And was I interested when it did drop? Yeah. So, but would I be interested if Drake said some more shit? Yeah. But does that mean it's what he should do? No.
And did everyone become more interested when that dropped?
But but it doesn't make it the right move though.
Well, here's the thing though too. By doing it on an HBO show, I think Drake probably lost a little bit control over how it was dropped, when it was dropped, a lot of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you hear a lot of the questioning why it was dropped so late and stuff, and why are we still talking about that? That's probably an HBO thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I have to believe that was probably recorded like a lot earlier than what we think.
Yeah, probably.
But there's probably a way to find that online. I don't know.
So here's the random question of the day. And it came up while we were all over watching the state game the other day. What is the proper, on a scale of 0 to 100 percentage, what is the proper brightness to have your phone set to? Because I have found that I am way more a bright person than my peers.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say especially women, but even some of my male friends, their screens they're always like, look at this. And it's like, I literally can't see that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to turn your brightness up. How are you just functioning on your phone on a daily basis with this dark ass phone?
Mm-hmm.
And these people, when I'm talking, like I'm talking percentages, these people have this shit to like, I mean, we're talking like no more than 10%.
I want to know,
like, is this normal?
That's too dark for me.
For sure it's too dark.
Yeah.
Like right now in a well-lit room, I'd have that shit like 50%.
Yeah. I mean,
And I probably would even have it more, because like why should I even start? That's about 50% right there.
yeah, I mean,
What's yours at? Like 70? 75?
50.
50? That looks pretty good. And I'm okay with that.
It's the 10 though, so.
But I'm not talking crazy here. Like I'm not saying, that shit's got to be at all brightness at all times. But I swear I look at some of these people's phones and you can't even see what's going on.
Dude, anytime I see that now, I think I'm going to start to ask them to see their screen time.
Yeah.
Because they have to be on their phone all the time. I don't have battery problems.
Well, see, and that's a lot of people's responses is it saves battery. It's like, what's the point of saving battery if you can't like even use your phone properly?
But how much are you on your phone?
That the screen brightness is gonna
drain
your battery.
Yeah, come on.
That's real.
Like you literally have to be unlocking your phone all the time.
And like I don't have the best like eyesight. So okay.
What's your screen time today?
Probably way too much.
What is it? Just read it off.
I don't know. How do I get to it? I've never looked.
You just go to your settings and it's right there. Screen time.
No, it's not. Oh yeah.
It might take a second to populate.
Oh, just like in
it's
general?
at the top. It just says today at 4:30, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
Let me see.
No, I'm not showing you this shit.
Why? If there's nothing there, then it doesn't show it.
It says no, because like I'm just having trouble reading it. What's yours?
An hour and 3 minutes.
Yeah, see, mine says 13 seconds.
13. Let me see.
That's what it says.
13 seconds. How is that?
I'm telling you. See, I'm not stupid.
What? Have you literally not been on your phone today?
Could be. I have been pretty busy today. I might, but I mean, I've sent more than 13 seconds worth of like just texting people and being on the phone.
Go to your click iPhone at the top.
Yeah, I did.
And then go to the last 7 days.
17 minutes per day.
Nice.
No, that's not right.
How is that not right?
There's no way I've only spent 17 minutes on my phone
I mean,
each day.
I don't know how that could be wrong. What's your most used app?
Messages.
Yeah.
It's not right.
I don't know how that's not right.
What's yours?
30 minutes a day?
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like my shit's gotta be. I do too much Golf Clash for that. Too much looking for fantasy football trades.
Have you done it this week? Because the week just started on Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really on my phone at all yesterday, so maybe that's just what it is. Throughout the week, I'm on it more.
Yeah, the week literally just started, so it's only taking.
But it said,
2
but
days.
last 7 days, it only just counts 2 days. It doesn't do the last 7 days.
No, it's only doing at the beginning of the week because you can see the bars.
Gotcha.
Just by doing this, I'm up to 31 minutes.
Anyway, that's a tangent.
No, but I wanna know because the one thing that I hate about that thing though is they should show the last 7 days.
Yeah.
Because if I want to see like what somebody uses their phone within 7 days, I'm not looking for it to refresh every week. Like,
Yeah, you got to get them on a Friday.
right. But I don't know. I feel like somebody that has that problem.
So are you with me on this then? Have you noticed this problem?
Yeah, but I honestly think it's because people are on their phones too much.
So they're trying to save battery?
Yeah.
But you've noticed this as a problem.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Because I've definitely noticed it as a problem. I feel like over 50% of the people I have interactions with of like, here, look at this on my phone.
Yeah.
Have way too.
Do you have
screens.
battery issues?
It's hard for me to say because I like charge my phone when I get opportunities. So I do like. There's probably a lot of days where I wouldn't be able to go the whole day with a charge, but I'll charge it in my car. I'll charge it when I get to the office.
I like never charge my. I charge my phone when I go to sleep, like every day.
Some people don't do that though. Some people just they wake up with 50% battery and then they're trying to keep battery all day. You know what I mean?
See, you need to get in a better habit if that's.
Oh,
what
for
you're doing.
sure. No, I agree with that.
I don't have sympathy for you though, but
this screen time thing is tweaking me out because there's just no way. I've been on my phone way more than that.
dude, it's been pretty accurate for me. I've been looking at it like past weeks because I've been like kind of paranoid about how much I've been on my phone.
I'm gonna start looking at that shit because I don't believe it.
And yeah, it's been pretty accurate. Like even it's got like one of my top apps used is my fantasy app, which I kept checking on Sunday.
Yeah, mine was right up there too, and that's probably why. Because I was like, I don't spend much time on that, but I was on Sunday.
Like 16 pickups per day. I'm gonna use yours.
0 per hour.
0 per hour. Mine's per day.
Mine's per hour.
The last 7 days, Tab?
Nope. 7 per day.
Yeah, so you must
What's
have
yours?
16. So you must have not been on your phone very much from Sunday to right now.
I'm not.
That's good. And that's probably why you don't have battery problems very often.
It's also why I'm not present enough on social media lately.
Well, and that's the other thing. But I do feel like every single time somebody has that issue, I always peg them as probably somebody that
You peg them?
is well, they always just have their phone. You know those people too that never put their phone like in their purse or their pocket or anything, and they're literally just it's like an appendage that's like stuck to them. Those are the people with the dim phone screens.
Yeah, that's probably our sister.
Yes, that is our sister.
I think it was her that the conversation sparked.
I always know. Yeah, I mean, her screen is the dimmest of anybody's that I've seen. She literally keeps it at the lowest percentage. I don't know how she sees anything on her phone.
Well, and then they try to come at me like, "What are you trying to look at my phone for?" I'm not trying to look at your phone. I'm just baffled that you're on here typing when your screen looks like your phone's on.
I know.
I'm just making sure you're okay.
I know.
Or you try to show me something and it's like I can't see what you're doing.
I know. It's ridiculous. I can't see. When I try to do that, there's no way. How am I supposed to see anything that's going on there?
Stupid. Did you see any of the Lakers-Rockets brawl?
No.
Apparently, allegedly, Rondo spit in Chris Paul's face. And then Chris Paul went up to Rondo and like,
oh, I think I saw
poked
a
him in
meme
the
of
eye,
this or
like
something.
did that, like put the fingers in the face and then shove,
I think I saw something.
and then
like
Rondo
that.
swung on him. And there was some other stuff, like Brandon Ingram was getting into it with Harden and one of the refs, and Ingram was just kind of wilding out. I just wanted to say, I don't know, and I don't think they were able to catch on camera. I'm pretty sure the NBA said they didn't see anything on camera where they can say Rondo spit on Paul. But people are saying, like, you could see Paul wiping something off his face, and obviously he was upset about something, so chances are he did. And okay, I'm gonna preface this by, if Rondo spit on Paul, all bets are off. You don't spit on a motherfucker. Like, that's just, you just don't do that. So whatever happens after that, you deserve if you spit on somebody.
Right.
I will say, though, I do not like Chris Paul. I don't know if he's got little man syndrome, even though he's not that little in the grand scheme of things. He is in the NBA, but he to me conducts himself on the court like he has little man syndrome. And that, like, putting your fingers in somebody's face and shoving them away, like swing on him or something. Like, what is that, bro? Get your fingers out of my face.
That's what children do.
But like I said, all bets are off if Rondo spit on him, so I'm not going to say that. But in general, I just wanted to say, not a Chris Paul fan.
Okay.
And if you watch any of his games, you'll see what I'm saying. He's always like all up in motherfuckers' jerseys, like doing some petty hand grabbing, like trying to be this fucking gnat type shit, and I just don't fuck with it. Because then, okay, if you're that guy like Pat Beverly, he's like that type of guy on defense. He's just a dog, whatever. But if you call a foul on him or whatever, he's like, yeah, and he goes about his business.
Yeah.
Chris Paul does all that shit and then's like, what, me? Oh, no. Then the first one to fucking fall back.
Right.
I don't fuck with that.
Right.
I'm on record, not a Chris Paul fan. And I guess I say that because he gets tons of adulation and respect around the league. Like Chris Paul, just one of the, and he's like president of the Players Association and good guy and whatever. And I'm not saying he's not a good guy, but it's like he's a fucking dick on the court.
Yeah.
But all right.
Maybe he's got little man syndrome.
I think he does.
Probably.
He's taller than me, but on the court, you wouldn't know it.
Well, yeah. In NBA standards, probably. I mean, he grew up his whole life playing basketball.
Is little man syndrome, is that all based off of who you're around? Like what a 4'7" guy.
That's like if a tree falls in the forest doesn't make a sound type of thing.
It probably would have to do with who you're around, right?
Well, duh.
Okay.
You can only judge based on who you're around.
Yeah.
I'm not getting pissed at some short dude in a book that I've never met before. I'm getting pissed. I'm getting pissed. No, I'm getting pissed. If I'm the short man and I grew up around trees and I read about a dude that's like 4'11", I'm not pissed about him. I've never met him.
Whatever. I'm not following what you're saying, but I think we agree. I don't know what you're talking about, this book that you've never met.
No, I'm saying if I just read about somebody, if I know that a shorter person exists, that doesn't make me less short.
Yeah. I think I see what you're saying.
How much of the Joe Budden podcast did you listen to last week?
The Pusha one?
Yeah.
The whole thing.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Did you hear the little bit about Demoitis? Them talking about that?
Real thing.
Wow. You're not the only one with Demoitis.
No, I mean, I think all artists, especially like rappers, probably have that. But probably all artists, really.
Probably more so today, just because it's so easy to get something that sounds like a finished product without it being a finished product.
Why don't you explain Demoitis for the layman?
I mean, how I understand it is just, you know, especially in rap, it's easy to just get the beat and then record over the beat and think that that's a final product. And a lot of artists tweak and do a lot of things to their own song to the point where they listen to it over and over and over again, that any little tweak that is done by a producer or engineer after the recording fact gets turned down by the artist because they can't listen to the song any other way than how they recorded it.
Think of it this way. And sorry for my voice, I keep losing it, but if you Think of the song you play the most right now. You maybe play it like 10 times a day. Whatever. Maybe you're not an avid listener. Maybe you play it a couple times a day. But you listen to it all the time. Now, let's say an engineer, somebody took that song and made a noticeable tweak to one of the parts. Chances are, and let's say that tweak is for the better, like sonically.
Right.
It's the right move. Even though I'm not a fan of right and wrong in music.
It translates to most, because the thing is, at some point in the music making process, you have to take into consideration technical things in the mix.
Right. So without getting into a big, long discussion of like, because I would be the first one to say I don't really believe in right and wrong when it comes to music and sound. Like, it's a taste thing. But there's certain things that it's just like, no, that's the way, whatever. But they make a good tweak to the song. 99% of the time, you're gonna be like, if you go hear that after you've been used to listening to your favorite song over and over, you're gonna be like, no, that's wrong. Move it back.
Right.
Put it back. Change it back. That's what like Demoitis is. Artists listen to their fucking demo, their draft, their whatever of a song a zillion times and get so used to it that any change that wasn't their idea is like, no.
Right.
Without
because here's the thing, as an artist, and it's easy to do, and it's even easy to do as a listener just in general, is it's super easy to get caught up in your little environment as far as, I listen to my song this way, I've listened to it on 5 different speakers, and therefore it's good. That does not necessarily mean that it is. Because how many different headphones and how many different car speakers and how many different ways of listening to music in general are there?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I have listened to many of my mixes on multiple different speakers, released them, and then gone over to a friend's house and cringed based on how it was on their nice speakers because it didn't translate.
Yeah.
It just happens. And that's why the mixing process is so important, is just because that's the engineer's job, to get it to translate as best as it can to all ways of listening. And if the artist doesn't care about that, that's one thing. And we can talk about that too, because I'm beginning to think more and more as the music industry even changes too. How do most people listen to their music anyway? On their iPhone head pods or whatever the hell they're called, or whatever. Yeah. And that's probably how like 70% of music listeners listen to their stuff. Yes, in the car. But the thing is, it's hard to mix for the car. Like, how many different car stereo options are there? You can't really mix for all of them. You can just, it's literally just finding the happy medium to make the artist happy and the translation happy. That's it.
Yeah.
And there's never a perfect option. Ever.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like, you do have to get it to the best of your ability that's going to work on all different platforms.
But when they say an artist has bad demoitis, I think what they mean is they have no toleration or understanding for
toleration. Yeah. Okay.
For the engineer's job. Because I have heard of our nightmares from engineers of, you're supposed to make it better. Well, I am, but you don't understand how I'm making it better, so it really doesn't matter.
We're going to get into a big, long discussion here then. Because
I'm going off of, this is not necessarily how I feel.
No, say what you just said, though. Do you remember?
Your job is to make it better.
No, but do you remember what you just said, the words you just used?
Your job is to make it better, and you don't understand the way that I'm making it better, so therefore I shouldn't even try.
Right. There's nothing worse, and I can speak from personal experiences, than you telling the artist that made the song, you don't understand how I'm making it better. Fuck you. Dude, I have ears. Dude, and if what I'm hearing from you doesn't make the song better to my ears,
I get it, but there's a difference between what you hear on your headphones and what is overall trying to be done with the song. There's a difference.
Explain it to me.
The difference is what I just said, translating
all
the
these
song.
different types of speakers.
Translating the song, finding the happy medium.
To all different types of
To
speakers.
everything.
Okay.
Everything.
That's
so,
fine.
yes, there are going to be tons of arguments with the artist and the engineer based on their ecosystem of listening to music and the engineer's understanding of how audio profiles work.
Yeah.
That's always going to be a battle. Always.
That's fair.
And there's a reason why the engineer does what he does and the artist does what they do.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's the thing is I'm not saying there rarely is a right or wrong answer. It's just whether or not how far the artist wants to go in order to please everything.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is it's more about finding that balance between what's most important. The Apple earbuds, the car, the monitors, whatever, because they're not all going to be perfect unless you have like fucking Ali fucking mixing your shit.
Right. And I do think too that it's tough cuz there's different types of listeners too, like a listener isn't even really a huge music head and appreciates every little technical aspect of it isn't going to hear half of the shit anyway. So I'm not even really talking about pertaining to them. The biggest thing that I'm trying that engineers and producers are trying to pertain to is they've spent years deconstructing music to the point where they can hear it.
Yeah.
The artist cannot. They're trying to pertain to every other person that has spent years deconstructing music and may write you off based on what they hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're trying to do, while still keeping the artist's artistic integrity intact with the song. So it is a tough job. Like, it's not easy. And a lot of the times the artist isn't willing to make it work. Like, and that's just the way that it is. But there are two sides to that coin. I sympathize with. There's plenty of times when I go to mix something, I spend all day in the studio with switching from my monitors to my headphones and think that I've found a pretty good balance, and I go to my car and I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
Everything's fucked.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating. Like, that's super frustrating.
Well, what's frustrating from an artist's perspective too, if you step out of Demoitis, which is a problem, but if you can understand the engineer's issues, but then you got to jump to the artist of, okay, I have this mix that I like.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to it in my headphones. I listen to it in my car, or even let's just say I listen to it in my headphones and it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Then you get a second mix back, and the engineer likes this one better, and you put it in your headphones that you like this first mix, and you don't like it as much.
Right.
How are you comfortable putting that out? I enjoyed listening to this in my Apple headphones.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to put out this mix that I don't enjoy listening to as much.
Right. Well, and there's something
and
too.
Is
like,
that right?
No, and sometimes I don't think that there is a right answer, just because sometimes and this is just the tough part about dealing with art is you have no idea who's right in the sense of who with fresh ears is going to think which version's better. You see what I'm saying?
No.
The more you listen to something and keep listening to it, I mean, tons of people will tell you, like, even I listen to Drake and this isn't me, I'm just acting like a different person, is you hear this all the time on the internet. I hate the new Drake song. 5 days later, I kept listening to the new Drake song and now I love it. Like,
oh yeah,
that tends to happen the more you listen to something.
Yeah, for sure.
You start to like it more. Now think about it from both the artist and the engineer's perspective, because both of them listen to it until they can't anymore. So the artist probably more so than the engineer, but they're both listening to it a lot. The artist is listening to that demo over and over and over and over and over. They're going to start to like it regardless. They're going to start to lose the, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like the, being able to step outside the box and
perspective.
The perspective on it. It's just natural. It has nothing to do with having bad ears or anything like that. It literally is what it is.
Mm.
And it's the same thing with the engineer. If the engineer gets a song and they play their version over and over and over and over, they're going to start to like that version better.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing that you can do is have people on your team that are literally just there to be like, okay, we have a discrepancy. I'm playing this for you once. Please make a decision.
Yeah.
Because
and
that's
half the time in our experience, sometimes people can't even tell the difference.
no, and yeah,
And that's just like, okay, well, we're just killing ourselves over stupidity then.
right, exactly. And you do get down that hole too, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, I don't know. It's super tough, and the bottom line is it's kind of like, that's why as an engineer, I tend to err on the side of making everybody happy, because my paranoia is someone's going to listen to this on a system that I didn't get to hear it on, and therefore I'm erring towards the side of caution. Whereas a lot of times, not only you, but a lot of artists are erring on the side of what I heard is gospel on my ecosystem, and we're going with that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying one way is more right than the other. It's two different ways of looking at it. But from the way that I've talked to different engineers and producers compared to artists, that seems to be the dividing line, is they have a mentality of being paranoid about their mix, so much so to the point where they err on the side of caution of making every single audio profile happy. Whereas the artist is like, I heard this song, and when I made it, it was a banger, and I don't give a shit about anybody else's like stereo system or whatever, or way of listening to it, which is fine. But yeah, I mean, I think that's Demoitis. Like, I got a little bit more in depth on that than I wanted to, but it's a real thing, dude. Like, it holds up the creative process so much, even.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially with people that do both record and produce. They hold themselves up so much because they have the curse of understanding both sides. It's like an internal battle.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, I recorded this. Well, now this doesn't sound good, so I got to go re-record this. And well, now the drums don't sound good because my vocals are too high and all that. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle with that.
I feel you.
Making a Murderer season 2's out.
Yeah, I'll watch that for sure. I haven't started, but I will watch it. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
Finished it?
Yeah.
You're such a loser.
Aaron and I watched it like all day.
You're such a loser.
I was kind of pissed that I spent all day watching that, though.
Because it wasn't that good, or because you spent all day watching a Netflix series?
Both. But yeah, it just wasn't as good as the first. And I wasn't expecting it to be either. The bottom line is, I think they're kind of stretching on. They presented everything well. It just doesn't make for a good documentary anymore. It's just too much like, here are the discoveries that we made after, and you can tell they're trying to like stretch it into like a 10 series thing, and it's just, you get the feeling in a lot of episodes that it's just too long.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been wrapped up in 5 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and I haven't watched it at all, so I don't know, but it was such a successful first documentary that it's like, how could we not do
bank on the success of it?
Right,
yeah.
and it probably will be successful, but it probably won't. It'd be hard to live up to how good the first one was.
Yeah, I don't.
And it's not a new, like the first one, to any viewer, it was a brand new story. You didn't know anything about it. It's like now they're trying to have a sequel to something that was huge. So right. I can only, like, based off of that, do you think it was fine? Like, if you watch the whole thing, it must have been relatively
I think it was
interesting.
I think it was fine. What they had in it was interesting. I just thought at the end of the series, looking back on it, I felt like it should have been a lot shorter. Like, they were trying to make this into,
I felt
like
that way with, did you ever watch the Staircase documentary?
Yeah.
I felt that way with that one.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
felt-
good documentary, but it could have been way shorter. There
Yeah.
was like a lot in the middle that was just, oh my goodness, I'm
Yeah,
watching the same
I
episode
thought
over
I
and
thought
over.
that of that one. I thought way more of part 2 of Making the Murder.
Okay.
Like there was just so much like just fluff.
Yeah.
Like they're really trying to keep these episodes an hour long and make 10 of them. Like, it felt like a conscious decision to do that. They just didn't have enough to present in order to make that many episodes to me.
Word.
But it was interesting stuff. That's why, you kept watching it, is because you could tell that something, they would drop something cool and it would last for like 10 minutes of the episode. And then you're like, okay, what's the next thing? But they had to stretch it out 40 minutes more. It's just kind of too long. But it was fine, and it was interesting, and I still think that whole situation is so fucked up.
Yeah, I have
It's
to watch
just-
it.
Like even more so, they came out with all that stuff after the first part,
Mhm.
like the stuff that they left off of the first documentary, like different things about how much of a creep Steve was and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
and they they kind of went into a little bit of that, but there's so much stuff that they even discover now that it's like, what in the hell was going on during that investigation? Like,
Yeah.
are these people dumb? Like, seriously, there's just so much stuff that is like, and even now, like, this isn't a spoiler, so I can say this, is I get for the victim's family, like, this has got to be tough, like having to
Super.
relive this all the time.
Super.
That being said, though, I'm always flabbergasted to how just sure, like, a lot of people are of both of their guilts or whatever, like, or that they did it.
Yeah.
Because just with everything that has been discovered, and even after you watch part 2, you'll even feel it. If you don't feel like that, like, there's still a question in my head. Like, you're always going to think, okay, they might have did it. They might not have. Who the hell knows? But there's doubt. Like, there just is. I don't know how you get around that. And to have these people walking around like, oh yeah, like 100% guilty.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that in general, like not even in the specific case, but just in a personal characteristic in general. I always wonder that with people, like, because I'm very much not like that. And I sometimes
either.
wish I was more, like, not even, obviously not in stuff like that, but just generally going about my day, like making decisions and stuff like that. I wish I was more sure 100% and confident, but I'm always like the what if this, what if that, what if.
But
that type of
I think it's even.
Whereas a lot of people are much better about being like, I think this, and so that's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
And it's good in a lot of daily life situations to just be a firm decision maker and believe in what you're doing like that. In situations like this, it's not good. Like, you're talking about somebody else's life. Like, you
I'm
better be damn
probably
sure.
a more firm decision maker than you are, right? So
Yeah, to a fault.
but when watching this, when I watch these type of things, it's, if somebody's giving me proof, like they just straight up show you that this could have happened, and here's why, type of stuff, and to ignore it, I don't get it. Like, that type of stuff is like, when it's so point blank in your face and you just say, oh, that's a bunch of shit. How is that a bunch of shit?
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to know what you're talking about. So.
Even in the first series, though, like, there was just so much stuff that, you could have just said, okay, there's stuff here that he
Well, that's part of the
possibly couldn't
problem
have-
is I don't even like remember the first series that well. I remember it was really entertaining, but yeah, I could never talk to you about like specifics of the case.
It's just with a lot of those documentaries, though, it just, like, some of the characters in them, they're real people, so
Right.
I don't want to call them characters, but some of the people in them being presented with all of this evidence on both sides, how can you possibly like think about it in a different way other than having some sort of question, reasonable doubt? That's the only way that I can describe it, is that's what it is. And to me, the type of person that I am, especially if I was ever on a jury like that, I would want to make damn sure that I'm sending this person to prison for the right reasons, because that's like, if he's actually innocent, and I'm not only talking about this making a murder stuff, like all these documentaries that I watch, is it's like, wow, some of these people are really sure based on some of the stuff that I've seen on this thing. Like, yeah, unless they're seeing stuff that I didn't see, like, I don't know how. Yeah, like I said, because my guilt, I would go to sleep every night being like, right, wow, like that would eat at me.
Yeah, I mean, sending an innocent person to prison's got to be one of the worst possible things you could do.
Just because it's one of my worst nightmares too. Is it's like, what if that ever happened?
Well, that's what I mean. I was saying in cases like this, like court cases, I'd rather let a guilty person go free than put an innocent person in jail.
Yeah, for sure. And just to be so positive, it's like, wow, I don't really get it.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, even down to the fact of like the biggest thing that was like irritating me throughout, like even the first part, the fact that, like, isn't it pretty clear that Brandon Dassey?
I don't remember, dude. If you talk to me about specifics.
No. But you remember like how, like, not smart. Yeah, he seemed and things like that, and like stuff like that is really hard to fake. So to me, I mean, he
seems slow.
And the thing is, I think there's two types of people that can either see that or can't, or I guess don't have empathy for it, maybe.
Empathy.
But I don't know.
Working on my empathy.
It's so weird to me. Like, with my personality type, it's like I'm normally pretty like, okay, if the facts are there, the facts are there, and I'll go with it. But with some of these things, it's like I don't know how people can come up with that. This is 100% for sure. I don't get that. Whatever. I might be missing something, but
you probably are.
I doubt it. You need to watch that.
I'm kidding.
It's just so weird to me. Like, even I do a lot of times, I'm like, my gut is saying, okay, he probably is still. But if I was to sentence him, I couldn't do it based on what there is.
Maybe that's because you're pussy.
I don't know. There's weird stuff going on, man.
Thank God we don't have you on the jury of other killers.
Hey, if you present me the facts, I'll be with you all the way.
We'd have a bunch of killers walking around here if you were on the jury.
All the way. Just make sure you do your job as a lawyer. That's the only thing. People are going to bring up my podcast. I'll get summoned for jury duty, and they'll hear that and they'll dismiss me right away.
Hopefully. I'm about to go on a rant and then just cite that if I get jury duty. Oh, sorry, can't be on it.
We have a couple voicemails. They're short.
Let's hear 'em.
Yo, what's up? It's Richard from Pennsylvania again. So I'm a fairly newer college student, and I'm meeting a bunch of cool friends, cool people, and I want to introduce them to the Specktators, music, podcasts in general. What music or what songs do you think are good songs to play to introduce them to the collective? Thanks.
Good question. Good scenario. Good question. I never really thought about it that specifically.
I think always the safe thing is to just go to Spotify or our YouTube channel or something and play the most listened to. Because I mean, the numbers don't lie. Like a lot of people like those songs.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's two ways around it. One is what Mo is saying, like if you don't
know their musical taste.
Well, right. The what Mo is saying, the popular stuff, because there's a reason it's popular. So that's you casting the widest net and giving yourself the best percentage chance of somebody fucking with it. The second,
And wait. I want to preface that though too. We don't cook our numbers or pay for plays or anything like that.
So it's straight up, yeah.
Anything that is popular is actually popular with many people.
Yeah.
Not like a lot of these other.
The second thing though is like, you obviously have your favorite songs. You're a fan, and the last thing you want to do is play. You're trying to get your friends to fuck with the same shit you are. So the last thing you want to do is play something that isn't even your favorite shit. They don't like it, and then you're like, oh well, what the fuck was the point of that? I don't even really like it that much either. Why did I expect them to like it? So there's the other aspect of just play the shit you like. And if they like it, then you guys got the same taste in it and they're going to fuck with it. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
So depending on how much time you got and how much stuff you can give them, those are the two ways around it. You got to make the call then. I would say if there's some really popular songs that are actually some of your favorites as well, then those are the ones.
Yeah. That's a surefire way. All right, last one.
Hey guys, it's Dylan Butts from Allentown, Pennsylvania. I have a really important question for you. Why do we bake cookies but we cook bacon? I can't wrap my head around it. I want to know why we do that. Peace out, guys. I love your podcast.
That's fire.
Bake cookies.
Well, I mean, baking cookies is
bacon.
Obvious. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good one.
Bake.
I mean, you don't have to. You can bake bacon. That's
right.
Actually, I prefer to bake bacon.
Right, but they still call it cooking bacon, though, don't they?
No, you either fry bacon or you bake it. I don't even know. Is that a thing? Like, I know baking cookies is like a big thing. Like, you bake cookies. That's just what you do. Do you cook bacon? I don't really hear. You either fry bacon or you bake it.
I
think most people just fry bacon.
How do you? The first question on Google: how long do you cook bacon in a frying pan?
Okay. What do you do in a frying pan?
Fry.
Okay.
No, I know it, but that's kind
the
of
first question on what? What did you type in? Bacon?
I typed in cook bacon.
Well, no shit. Cooking bacon's gonna. I know cooking bacon is gonna come up. You could probably type in cook cookies and something's gonna come up. Some idiot that actually says cook cookies.
I doubt it. No way.
It might be. They might just think you're being repetitive, so it might not. But yeah, I understand you cook.
No,
I understand
that
you
same
cook
thing
bacon.
does not come up.
But you fry, like, if you ask anyone who's making bacon, I don't think they necessarily. I'm not saying you wouldn't say cook bacon like it's weird. I'm just saying you say bake cookies, right? Like, there's really no other thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to bacon, I think number one, people would say fry. I'm gonna fry up some bacon.
Would they though?
I would.
I don't know. I'm like trying to like even.
Or I might just say make.
I'm gonna make some bacon, I guess is what I say, but
You don't make any bacon. You don't be making bacon?
yeah, because it's so difficult.
I'm saying you don't make it.
I have made it.
Cook bacon. Yeah, I don't put. Great question. I get the whole bake bacon cook.
I have
cookie
heard.
thing.
I have heard people say that.
No, I'm not saying people don't say it. It's just not on the same level as baking cookies. Like, baking cookies is a thing. When you're making bacon, you're frying it up. Or if you're a real G, you bake it.
That's interesting. Dude, okay, listen to this. Fry or cook bacon was my Google search.
So they're saying baking is cooking. Which is fair. Like, I never hear anyone say, I rarely hear anyone say I'm going to bake bacon.
Right.
Because it's too repetitive.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Frying is cooking technically, so it can be one and the same.
Yeah, cooking encompasses all.
Right.
You can cook. You can cook cookies.
Right.
I don't really know what the technical definition is, but I assume cooking is, I interpret cooking as just the overall.
Yeah.
You could cook anything. It includes baking, frying, whatever you want.
Yeah. You just say bake cookies because cook is in the name.
Right.
But you say cook bacon because bake is in the name.
You say fry bacon. But yeah, okay, let's put it that way. Maybe this is more what he's asking. If you put cookies in the oven, it's baking cookies.
Yes.
If you put bacon in the oven, you don't say you're baking bacon.
No. You say
so,
you're cooking
okay, I'll give him
bacon.
that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because of the sound. It's how it comes off the tongue.
That's got to be the reason.
That's why you go with making.
Right. Making.
Or you say cook because even making bacon is kind of annoying to say. It makes you feel like a rapper.
Okay.
Good question. That was a really good one. I like that one. Nice. Good conversation.
Anything else?
No. Let's get out of here.
All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything on the horizon.
As far as what?
As far as just our music. Marcus'
tomorrow,
show.
Marcus has a show in Grand Rapids. I'll be there.
It's tomorrow? I thought it was Thursday.
When it airs, it'll be tomorrow. It's Wednesday.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think that's it.
Did we determine how we're going to talk on the podcast?
Yeah, we did. You did it right. I was just trying to make sure that I was actually thinking about days right, because I thought it was the 24th, but I wasn't positive.
Well,
all right.
I'll have more music to preview on the podcast as soon as Mo decides to mix. Per usual, he's too busy getting shit canned, watching college football games, and binging Netflix series. So at least we really know what's going on here.
Until next time, Ray.
Put my shot up in his wet. Billy Hoyle, fuck looking fresh.